Alright guys, welcome back to the RVBs Cup. We're about to hit match 7 of day 1 between Shut the Fuck Up TELE and Team Who's the FC. I am Sir Squeebles here with Dantessi Catalan of You Heard Renown. Say hi, Dantessi.
Hello, how's everybody doing today? Well, I hope you guys have been enjoying the stream thus far. We've had some interesting matches.
We have. We've had interference from third parties. We've had Concord make an appearance, which was really nice of them. I am now linking. Oops. I'm just setting up the primary streamer with team names now. There we go, and we should expect to have the teams land on grid before too terribly long. So, thus far, the first half of the day, we've seen primarily shield fleets. We have seen a couple armor comps, both of which actually did okay. But we've seen lots of Caracals, we've seen several Vexers. We only saw the MOAs in, I believe, the second match, but they were pretty entertaining, if not successful, unfortunately, for, I guess it was Rainbow Apocalypse. So, and then we've seen this Worm comp come out in the last match, which I thought was really interesting, and I'm absolutely sure it won't be the last time we see Worms in the tourney.
It should be very, very fun to see those fielded again. One thing that I have been disappointed with so far is the performance of the Thorax in this. It's just too fragile for this, unfortunately. It can pump out a whole bunch of DPS and have a relatively sturdy armor tank, but just hasn't been fielded. But, oh well. Another day.
Well, a thing to consider with the Thorax is Thorax has always been something that we've seen in tournaments for rush comps. They're extremely fast. If you shield them, they do a lot of DPS, and their tank is not substantial. They don't get any tanking bonuses, but they're comparable to something like a Caracal. But the risk that you run is if you field Thoraxes and the enemy team does have a healthy frigate contingent, those frigates can screen the Thoraxes because they have to be right on top of whatever they're shooting. Although, I mean, you could do rails potentially, but it's a gamble. I wouldn't rule them out. I do think that they will make an appearance before the tourney is over with, but it's definitely a comp that can be easily countered. And I think teams are playing it pretty safe today, trying to bring well-rounded comps in as much as you can for a 5-man fleet. They've been fairly successful. A lot of teams using Tech 1 E-War frigates in the Maulus and the Hyena. A lot of Tech 1 Logi, a few teams building the Tech 2 Logi for sort of a beefier backline. So we've seen pretty good variation. When you're working with limited points and limited number of pilots, you're definitely going to see themes form, but the variety so far has been nice, and I think it will only get more interesting as the teams sort of get comfortable in what it is that they're flying and we move further into the tourney.
And it looks like we've got some guys landing on grid.
Indeed we do. That would be my team, Shut the Fuck Up TELE. They're warping in now, and for this team we can see an Inyo, two Inyos, sorry, a Retribution, an Executor, and a Thorax. This is almost the exact same comp that we saw fielded just a few matches ago, but they have swapped out the Arbitrator of the previous comp for a Thorax, so a little more DPS. They won't have the E-War benefit of the tracking disruptors off of the Arbitrator, but quite frankly I don't think those were super effective anyways.
So, off of the Who's the FC team, I have a Tristan Arbitrator Triple Vexer.
Okay. Can you tell if they're armor or shield?
I believe it's going to be armor.
I would expect the same, especially with that Arbitrator. Arbitrator's mid slots are valuable for the E-War potential, so it's really unlikely they would have shield tanked it. That definitely would gimp the fit. So what you've got is you've got a 5-man DPS squad, armor tanking, versus a little more rounded comp in the Inyo Exec Retribution Thorax. The problem is, for Team Shut the Fuck Up TELE, they've got a lot of DPS incoming. That Executor is going to have an okay buffer tank and probably a medium ancillary armor upper, but 3 Thoraxes is nothing to play with, and in the event that the Arbitrator has newts in the highs, it's going to make his life that much more difficult. So I expect to see the Executor primaried.
Right now, we're just gonna have an all-out brawl.
So we can see Warriors out. I'm not sure for which team. They do
I've
have
got
Warriors out.
Warriors out for Team Who's the FC, and we've
So
gotten. Oh, that NEO just went
right.
bye-bye.
So STFU has now lost an Inyo. That's a pretty healthy part of their DPS. These executive reps are really not landing. The Arbitrator of Metalloid, though, is going down, but very slowly. He's just now at half armor. That's not a good trade for them. They need to sink that Arb real quick. We now see the drones of Team Who's the FC cycling out toward the Executor of Coriana. That Executor is hauling ass across the field, though, so he's evidently not tackled, or he's an overheated AB.
He's going pretty quick, 1,200 meters a second, and we've got some Vexers chasing him down.
It appears he is tackled now, though, and I would assume it's by that Tristan of Buzzing. So there goes the Arbitrator for Who's the FC. This is good. The Coriana and the Executor is doing some really good piloting work there. Unfortunately, he's tackled now,
Yeah,
and he is
he's
going down
caught
very
down.
quickly. There you go. So I would say all hope is situation, and they've got a lot of collective tank and DPS in these Vexers still to deal with.
Yeah, it's shaping up really well for Who's the FC at the moment. I like it. I like these nice little armor comps. Very brawly.
So Stalfern in the Thorax, their last bastion of hope and damage, is now down. He just popped. And then it looks like they are probably going to switch to Charlie, who already has some shield damage. No, they're going to go for Kevro in the Retribution. They're actually splitting damage because overconfidence. So let's see these Frigate Kara 3 Vexers. It would make me immensely happy. Come on, STFU, you can do it. The power of hope. No, okay. Well, he hoped himself into a pod. That leaves
We've
just
got
the
Charlie. These neophytes are definitely quite interesting. I'm seeing active tanks coming off of these frigates, so I like these.
That's not the first time that we've seen that, actually. In the earlier comp with the Ishkars and the Oniros, despite having an Oniros, they still put armor reppers on their Ishkars. So they did fit a local tank, and it looks like probably exactly what's happening here as well.
I'm wondering if they're doing this for the speed benefit. So instead of putting some plates on them on their frigates to slow them down and make them just a little bit more tanky, they're going for the speed option. That way, they have more tackle potential and time on target.
So GF Sim Local, that's the end of the match. That was a really convincing victory for Team Who's the FC. Really cool comp, and again, we talked earlier about the risk and reward of using a logistics pilot. So STFU did invest 20% of their pilots in a ship that can't really do damage, and Who's the FC avoided that and went for a 5-man damage comp, and it paid off. They sank their primaries really quick, mitigated damage from STFU pretty early, and came out with a 4-man squad still alive. So good stuff, and I think there's just a theme forming around these Vexers. Armor and, well, we haven't really seen shield used to great effect yet, but these armor Vexers are popular in the last half of matches in the first part of the day. They'll probably be back. Just going out on a limb there.
Interference on the field. I don't know if the stream's still up, but we've got some RVB Falcons on field, as well as a couple war target, or a war target stabber.
Yeah, so here comes the other fight. Let's commentate on this one. MacGyver from Fed in the Vexer is still on grid, as well as Keto in the Vexer. So 2 armored Vexers still on grid. Looks like they are primarying right now a Thorax
Falcon.
of Ace Gunnery. So
yeah,
this,
they're definitely on him. They've got all their drones out, and they're definitely committing straight into this.
So
however,
this is one of
Bunny
the
and Falcon.
This is one of the few times I endorse the use of the Falcon, but yeah, Bunny just did an oops and Concord looking.
Ace Gunnery in the Thorax is going down, and he won't be coming to wake up from this. So now they're going to be going towards Murky Halo.
And Murky Halo is deep into structure and about to be dunked. And boom goes the dynamite.
Really disappointed to see the RVB Falcon get Concord Oakened here, but
So this
at least they didn't
this
get the
is
kill
it.
now.
This is it, folks. That pretty much decides the winner. Even after fighting a full match, Team Who's the FC just shat all over these war targets. They weren't happy with one victory. They kept going. Quite frankly, I'm starting to fear for my own life, so I think I'm going to get this thing off grid. But really good match.